Now, I want to get to AEW for a second because Sammy Gueverra and Cody Rhodes had a great ladder match that King Dave Meltzer gave 5 stars. What's your take on ladder matches in general? What are the pros and cons?
Well, first of all, they had a great match.
Yeah.
The pros and cons are, and I've just become aware of this or thought more. I put more thought into this after having been in. I've been in 2. Number one, the guys that do these things and take these huge bumps are phenomenal. You know, I have nothing but respect for. But I think that I worry every time I see something like that, especially a big move like from ladder to ladder, kind of like when I guess Sammy gave Cody like a reverse stunner off the top, right?
Like a cutter. He hit with a cutter off the top of both ladders.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I went, oh my God. I mean, for Cody, Sammy, I'm sure, is used to all that stuff. I didn't know Cody could do that. You forget how athletic Cody is.
Yep.
Cody looked like the Cody that was in WWE, who do moonsaults off the top of a cage and stuff like that. It was tremendous. But as usual, I'm concerned for the health.
Yep.
And the welfare of everybody. That just comes with me being older. I don't want anybody's career to get cut short because of something crazy. And you know what? Every bump you take like that is something that you won't bother you till you're in your 40s, or 50s, or 60s. So, but I've got nothing but respect for it. But once again, I've said this: nothing's ever really impressed me as much as Edge spearing Jeff Hardy, and I live by that. I've been in 2 of them myself, and I just said to Matt Hardy, I said one time, I trust you. Give me any bump you want, whatever it is. And when I did it with Edge in a singles, I just said, Edge, I'll just follow your lead. I can take anything you give me, but I would never try to give you a bump because I'm not. I don't know. It's not that I couldn't do it, but not at 55. You don't start learning how to be in a ladder match.
Well, stay with that because at 55 doing a ladder match, I mean, you hadn't done it. I think that was your first one against Edge, right? Or was it the second one?
First one, yeah.
So, like, how do you figure out something like that? Even somebody as decorated as you and athletic as you and who knows how to work like you, how do you figure that out overnight?
Yeah, I just got to the building and Edge, I said, what can you do with it? What have you done? What can you do with me that you have never done with anybody else? And where he jumped off the top of the ladder on me. But every other one, he just put it together and I just took the bumps. I didn't do anything.
Now you mentioned...
And Lita was fabulous in it.
Now, you mentioned Jeff versus Edge, which was at 2009 Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
And I think that probably set the standard all time for ladder matches, didn't it?
Please. The spear off the top of the ladder in midair. Jesus. I mean, that bump from my standpoint is every bit as thrilling as the stuff that Mick did off the top of the cage with Taker.
I agree. Actually, not to blast Mick, but even more so because, it involved, two people, right, yeah, exactly.
It's much harder to take care of 2 people than it is 1.
Right, exactly. Now, I want to get back to Sammy and Cody for a sec because I think the world of Sammy and I think the world of Cody too. And I love that match. I think Sammy's one of the best 3 or 4 workers in the business now, but unfortunately with those two.
Whoa.
I'm telling you.
Okay, in the business.
Yeah, who's better? I mean, okay, among the men, how's that?
Yes.
That fair?
Yes.
I think that because, who's better? Who's having matches like him on a consistent basis right now? I don't want to hear what, somebody did 10 years ago. I mean, right now.
Who's having matches like what?
Better matches than Sammy right now.
In our business?
Yep.
My daughter.
Yep. Okay, keep going. I agree.
Randy Orton in every single match he's in.
Okay, keep going.
AJ Styles.
Maybe. Right now? Right this second? Maybe.
if you put him in a match like that, he's got to be put in that scenario.
Well, right, but
Who's capable of it?
I'm talking about reality, not fantasy. The Young Bucks hardly even work anymore. They're hardly ever on TV. They're hurt or they're sick, and that's not their fault, but they're not working.
Okay, but you asking me who when they're working. I don't book the shows, so
I know, not yet. But
Sammy was he 25 yet?
28, I think.
Yeah, he's not expected to be at their level yet. He's really good. Don't take me wrong.
Yeah.
He's really good, but if you put AJ Styles in that match, he's going to be better. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. Right now, I'm not sure. Everybody else,
We're having a debate. That's what the show is all about.
right. What about Bryan Danielson? Who's better right now, Sammy or Bryan Danielson? Right now.
Brian, or your buddy, Sammy.
Right. I think.
Absolutely. He's better than CM Punk right now.
Yep. Well, yeah, he is.
Well, I'll concede what you're asking me. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
You're asking me if who's the best. You said men's division, not matches.
I think Sammy's having great matches. I mean, I
didn't say he didn't, but you asked me who. You said he's one of the best men in the business. He's not.
Yep. Well, I think he's top 5.
Top 10, maybe.
Okay, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I might go a bit higher. But anyway, back to my original point. My one complaint about that match was the move you said before, which was very thrilling, and it's something people remember.
It wasn't the finish.
Right. If you do a cutter from ladder to ladder off the top of both ladders, that has to be the finish.
Absolutely.
What were they thinking?
They weren't. The quote Art Anderson, they weren't.
Now, I want to ask you about this match because you and I have talked about this before. The ladder match at WrestleMania 10 between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, which kind of brought ladder matches into the public eye. What was your take on that match?
Well, I just, as we've talked about, Shawn Michaels is one of those guys that could do anything. So I just thought that it was unique, it was brand new, and it was exciting. And, obviously, it the fact that we're talking about it all these years later, it entertained a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. And
but I definitely think the match was great because of Shawn.
I think
Razor was in there like I was with Edge, just to take the bumps.
Right.
Shawn gave the bumps and Razor took them.
Yeah. No,
much like me and Edge. I mean, Edge was the guy that got me through it, as Shawn got Razor through it.
And I don't think that that's an insult to Scott at all.
It's not.
I think that's just a tribute to Shawn. And also for him to do it then, when how many ladder matches had there been and what kind of blueprint was there for him and Scott to work with? That's what made it most impressive, perhaps.
Exactly. Was that the first one ever?
I think there had been some, but not at that level, not with that visibility.
Yeah. And not with Shawn Michaels.
That's exactly right. Could not have put it better. Here's a note from Steve Kaufman, our producer, referring back to our segment about the ladder match. Bret Hart claims to have done a ladder match at a house show. Well, of course he does. Bret Hart's done everything first.
Is Bret listening right now?
I don't know.
Of course, I don't know.
Now,